Welcome to Fast Car to NASCAR with Mike Wallace, part of the Speed Sport Podcast Network, powered by My Race Pass. My name is Jeff Kent. Strap yourselves in, pull those belts tight. We'll take you on a journey from short tracks across America to super speedways and everything in between. Today's guest is a driver. He's a team owner. As a driver, he competes full-time in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, driving the number 92 Chevrolet Camaro for DGM Racing. He's also competed in the NASCAR Truck Series and the ARCA Menard Series. He's been in the news lately. Now, just a couple of weeks ago, he was involved in a three-car collision at Atlanta Motor Speedway. His crew taped up the damage. However, debris began to fly off his number 92 Chevy, and officials ordered him to leave the race. They told him to park it, Mike. So he did, right at the start-finish line. He left the vehicle and waved to fans while walking towards the garage. You're getting a visual, or you may have seen it. According to NASCAR, he violated several sections of the member code of conduct. He didn't get to race at COTA over the weekend. He received a one-race suspension. I assume we'll see him at Richmond. Welcome to the show, Josh Williams. Say hi to Mike Wallace.
What's happening, guys? I appreciate you for having me on.
Yeah, well, you're a superstar, man. You have become a overnight sensation, if I may say that, or it might be what the story, what do they call that, Jeff? A 15-year overnight sensation?
Overnight recognition.
Overnight recognition.
There you go.
Our show normally goes into who were you, your early days, and we're going to get to that, but he's such a highlight headline, fun, funny, serious, all the above. But I need you to take us back to Atlanta. 2 weeks ago. I guess we'll call it 2 weeks ago now.
It was, sure.
And you're running the Xfinity race. And I want you to tell the story because, people that watched it on television, I will tell you this. I've done a probing this week asking about to different fans, different people, racers in the business of who won the Atlanta Xfinity race. No one can tell me. Seriously, like no one could tell me, but they told me Josh Williams parked it at the start-finish line. So you, without winning, you were the overshadowing person of the race.
He won the marketing challenge.
Yeah, marketing challenge totally won. So take us back to Atlanta. That green flag flies, and what goes on?
Yeah, everybody knows Atlanta's changed so much here in the past couple of years after the reconfiguration and the repave, and it kind of plays out like a Daytona or Talladega. We were just kind of biding our time there and just riding around and trying to survive to the end. And unfortunately got some front end damage there in the wreck with the 27 and the 02. And we were still going to have a good day. It was going to affect us a little bit, but the new Atlanta, it's like a speedway, right? So as long as we stayed behind the pack and stayed out of trouble, we were still going to end up having a good solid finish and get some good points and move on to Richmond. Well, COTA, I guess. I keep forgetting that's on the schedule.
Yeah, you probably weren't even scheduled to run COTA, to be serious, right? Okay, go on.
But yeah, man, it's just, it is an unfortunate. It's super cold outside. Bear bond was a struggle to get to stick to the car. So, we were heating it with torches and everything. And unfortunately, we lost a piece there off the right front. And then NASCAR decided to tell us to park it. And I think it was just a product of how the race was going. Super caution filled there in the first stage. And it was just really long and drawn out. So I feel like that I was the victim right there. I was the guy, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. So they decided to park us. And, we was talking back and forth on the radio, and I was like, there's no way that this is real. Like, there's no way that this is happening. And so I was riding around the bottom real slow, and Reed Sorensen, my spotter, and my crew chief, Brian Berry, were talking back and forth to officials, and I passed pit road entrance at that point. So I slowed down and I stopped at the start finish line, and I asked Reed again, I'm like, is this real? Like, are they really black flagging us? He's like, yeah, they said to park it. I was already parked. So I just got out.
I will say that's ultimate classic. Were you thinking about that even, or when you did that? It happened so cool that it's like, man, I got this all planned out.
I guess the question is, what was your mindset? Were you angry?
Oh yeah, I was super mad because it hurts us a lot. We're trying to fight for points and positions and purse money and everything to keep going, and I didn't think it was right in any way. But it's their sandbox, and we just play in it. So I stand beside their decision of them parking me for a week. I get it. I kind of disrupted the whole world there for a few hours. So.
Well, let me ask you that. I'm being sorry. I thought I heard you say that. Why do you stand by that decision? Why do you think it was right for them to park you? And why then, from that point, why do you think it was right for them to suspend you under the circumstances? Because I've heard just like so much conversation, Jeff, this week about this subject, and it's like, yeah, maybe the rule's this, but considering the temperature, the bare bond's a sticky big tape that you do patchwork with, and it's like there wasn't a common sense call put there. It was like, this is the rule, and
the car wasn't trashed, right?
Right. So why do you why do you think they made a right call?
I definitely disagree with them parking us. I disagree with the suspension side of things. I mean, if they didn't do anything at all, I mean, that kind of opens the door up for everybody to be like, oh, well, he got away with it. If I don't like a call, I'm going to do something crazy. So, I mean, they definitely showed order and showed people that, there's definitely consequences for your actions.
Yeah, well, the nice thing about it, and I'm trying to have a little humor with this at the same time, during you walking back to and getting over to pit wall, there was live cameras around. And when you're in the pit area, you made the comment, go ahead and find me. I can't pay it anyway. and then later, true story.
Well, Denny Hamlin said he'd pay it.
Yeah,
right?
then Denny Hamlin steps up and says, I'll pay it. And it's like, NASCAR's going like, shit, this ain't going to work. Money's not going to affect this deal.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and a lot of people are like, oh, Denny was probably just saying that, blah, blah, blah. But no, he actually reached out to me Sunday morning for the Cup race. And he's like, man, I'm dead serious. I'll pay your fine, whatever it is. I appreciate you doing what you did. And I guess, it's just something simple. Like some of the drivers may feel that things have kind of swayed away from how racing used to be back in the day. And finally somebody was like, well, I disagree.
Yeah. Well, I think it was nice. I think you did it in it's actually a funny, classy way, man.
So you park the car, you get out of the car, and then the fans start to react. So you start waving to the fans. Tell us about that.
Yeah, when I first got out, I waved at the two guys in the flag stand because I know them, right? We're all good buddies, and like you could tell they didn't want to wave back. They were like, "Oh man, I don't want to wave back." So they kind of did like the little half wave on the side, and I thought that was pretty funny. And I still had my helmet on, my earbuds, so I really couldn't hear anything. So when I took my helmet off and pulled my earbuds out, I was like, wow. I was like, these people are like standing up and cheering. So I just waved back at them, So it was it escalated rather fast.
Yeah, but it was very good. Besides the wave, you just threw up a peace sign. Like everybody was expecting you to flip off the tower, right? That's what was supposed to happen.
That might have got you a little.
Oh no, it's like it was. That's why I say it looked almost like I got this figured out already, and you peace signed them and kept walking. So
I mean, at the end of the day, I think it all worked out pretty good for you. And you guys have had a little fun with it too. Talk about your little TV tour you've done over the past couple of weeks.
Oh man, I feel like it's every 30 minutes I've got to do something crazy. But it's just it's been fun and it's been cool because a lot of people, they kind of tell my story more than focusing on the the event that happened. And I think that's the most beneficial thing is people kind of get to know me. They know what I do and they know what I do during the week and how hard we work to get things done. So,
hey, just out of curiosity, Josh, are you doing the dishes right now?
So I just got in the truck. We just fired up the late model. We're taking a kid to Hickory today to test and we're trying to get out of the shop. So the guys were staring at me like, "Hey, are you going to get off the phone? We got to go." So
tell them no. You got 45 minutes. It's valuable time. The whole world's listening. So tell them to chill out.
Yeah, I told them you got it. So I went and sat in the truck. They're getting paid. They're getting paid, so they can handle it without me.
Good deal.
Yeah. So as you were escorted from your pit area.
Extremely escorted.
Yeah, I mean they wouldn't leave you alone. Tell the listeners, I mean, because I think it's really important. This is a fun conversation, but it's a serious conversation at the same time. Once they took you and escorted you from your pit area, where did they take you? And I noticed your car was parked at the NASCAR trailer, which I've never seen before in my life. That like the car's there and you're in, I believe. So tell everybody what happened from the point of leaving the pit area.
Yeah, so basically, I walked to the pit box, and then they were like, hey, you got to go to the infield care center. And at that point in time, I told them, what are they going to do? Fine me? I can't pay it anyways. And Regan Smith and Wendy Venerini were there, and they were fixing to interview me, but they said they couldn't because we had to go, follow protocol and go to the care center. So when they brought me in the care center, they actually brought a security guard in there, and he stood there the whole time. And I was like, what do they think I'm going to do? Like run out of here or something?
Or punch somebody?
Yeah, I don't know what was on their mind, but it's just, I don't know. I thought it was a little overboard at the time, and I mean, I would have been more than willing to go to the hauler after the race and talk to Wayne, like, that's no issue. But I was in there. I think there was 140 laps to go, and I had to sit there the entire time, and it was just caution filled and took forever. And they wouldn't let me change. They wouldn't let me have my backpack. They wouldn't let me do anything. And they actually offered me food and something to drink when I first walked in there, and I was like, I don't want anything y'all got. Well, 2.5 hours later, I was like, the pizza don't sound so bad.
So why do you think I've always heard report to the trailer after the race. My little brother Kenny and I were talking about this the other day about your situation. He goes, "Oh, let me tell you a deal happened to me in Phoenix years ago." He says, "My crew guys told me that I was supposed to go to the hauler after the race."
Yeah.
And he says, "I told him, act like you didn't see me."
Oh,
So
yeah.
he left. So he says Mike Helton called him on Tuesday and told him he didn't want to be the one that ruined his career, but now he's got a $10,000 fine to go along with it.
Yikes.
So what did they have you? Was there somebody sitting in the trailer with you this whole time?
There was a couple officials in there, like, doing their job. But no, I was up in the front lounge watching the race on TV.
Okay, so you're sitting there, which, again, I've never heard of them making somebody do that, but you're sitting in there, and the race is over, and who's the first person that walks through the door in the hauler? And for everybody that doesn't know what goes on at a NASCAR race, there's a 53-foot, we call them transporters, and NASCAR has a portable office. They have a lot of their tech stuff, and then up front there's a lounge area, that's where the bosses hang out. And
Yeah, gotcha.
the principal's office is what it used
It
to be
sounds like
referred to.
detention.
Yeah,
It really
yeah,
does.
Yeah. So who walks through the door, Josh, after that race?
Yeah, so we're sitting there, and my crew chief, he comes in the trailer, and we're waiting, and we're talking about it. And then Wayne walks in the side door, and my crew chief's like, "Wayne, we're in here waiting." He says, "Y'all just wait a minute, I'll be right there." and we told him to bring back up. So he walks in, and it was a civil conversation. He explained his side, and I explained my side, and once it was all over, and I got my reprimanding. Me and Wayne shook hands and hugged each other and said, "I'll see you next time." So I like Wayne. He's a good guy. He's a short track racer at heart, like the rest of us. So I think he understood why I was so upset, but he definitely didn't agree with me causing a scene during his show.
Yeah. Well, then we're going to go here in a second to your normal program, but what did you expect when you walked out of that door? Were you expecting to get a fine? Were you expecting to get suspended? Did you know what they had in mind, or was it like, we'll call you on Tuesday and let you know?
I didn't know what they were going to do. I knew they were definitely going to do something, to kind of prove a point that, they didn't agree with what I did. So I probably knew we were going to get suspended. I kind of felt that way. But I wasn't sure as the fine stuff, and I was more worried about getting a points penalty than anything else, really.
Yeah, you actually, if I may say it this way, you actually got off kind of easy, didn't you?
I think so. It's bad in a sense. We still lost an entire race, so that's kind of a points penalty in its own. But and at the same time, it wasn't missing a race and losing extra points. So I definitely okay with that side of it.
All right. We're going to go to break in a second, but one final question before we go to break. Were you scheduled to run COTA?
I was. Yeah. I was on the sheet. So.
Okay. Because I thought, your team is a good little race team, but at times they put what I call a more road race guy into cars here and there, and
it's like giving a pitcher in baseball a suspension or like a 3-day suspension.
Yeah.
Well, he pitches every 5 days, so it's no big deal.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, well, me and Mario actually talked about it, after right as soon as we walked out of the hauler, I said, hey, you might want to call Alex LeBay and tell him he needs to come to Mooresville and get ready, see if he fits. So we had that in the works before we even left the racetrack at Atlanta.